Every day I get messages from people, and unfortunately, more often than not, they're messages from people who have unsuccessfully been trying to get jobs in the UK. And if you think about it, it might seem a little sad, but if you think about it a little more, not really, because these are all people who refuse to give up on their dreams no matter what they're met with. People who are persistent, people who look for solutions. And that's what today's video is all about. A solution to all of you who have been struggling to land a job in the UK. In today's video, I'll be sharing tips on one of the biggest recruiters in the UK, and especially because they hire a ton of people from outside the country, and telling you how you can get a job with them. So remember to watch all the way till the end. With that, I'm Ashika, and let's dive in. The recruiter I'm talking about is the NHS, but it's not a big secret that the NHS is one of the biggest employers in the UK. But the thing is, if you don't fall in a healthcare role, you're probably thinking this video is a waste of your time. Absolutely not. Here's the thing. The NHS is the biggest employer, not just in the UK, but in the whole of Europe, and the world's largest employer of highly skilled professionals. As of September, it had around 1.6 million employees. And the best part is that the NHS recruits for a lot more than just healthcare roles. Let's hop over to the NHS website and I will give you a quick tour. If you head over here, I'll leave this link in the description below. You'll see all the NHS listed jobs. Now, before you do anything, scroll to the bottom of the page. There are 2,267 pages of job listings and just about 10 listings on every page. That's about 22,000 jobs. That just gives you an idea of the enormity of the situation when it comes to recruitment at the NHS. For instance, if you're in the UK on a dependent visa, there's an opening for you. An opening for a restaurant or retail supervisor just here. Now, of course, not all of these jobs will be relevant for you. For you to see the jobs that are relevant, you'll have to type in right to work or visa sponsorship or jobs offering visa, something like that, so that you get the accurate job openings that are available to you. When you do that, you will be down to about 600 jobs at the time of making this video. But remember, not all of these 600 jobs offer sponsorship. A lot of them will have mentioned the word visa sponsorship but say that they don't offer. So it's important for you to read the details. And if you spend enough time scrolling, you're going to realize that the NHS doesn't hire just for healthcare roles by looking at these openings. It also hires for non-healthcare related jobs and very, very often offers sponsorship. Take a look at this. There's an opening for a strategic recruitment advisor, and if you realize the closing date, if you scroll down, you realize it's the 29th of October. So I'd hurry up and apply if I were you. Now, if you scroll further down, you'll see that if you're looking to get sponsored, you can apply for this role, which obviously indicates that this company is willing to sponsor the right candidate. There's also an opening of a medical HR and recruitment officer with Moorfields Eye Hospital again. And if you scroll down again, you will see that they are open to offering sponsorship. Do some more digging and you'll see there's an opening for a research compliance manager with North Bristol NHS Trust. There's an opening for an education administrator at University Hospitals of Leicester NHS Trust. And there's even one for the head of financial accounting. So what do you take away from all of this? All sorts of openings exist with the NHS. So if you don't belong to a healthcare background, do not write off the NHS. And they have all sorts of jobs, from merchandising to retailing to teaching. There's a lot the NHS has to offer. Now, before I go ahead, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, now's a great time to do it. Hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon for notifications. Now, let's get into what you should do. For starters, all NHS roles are posted here. So if you have the habit of checking just the job portals, like Indeed and LinkedIn, there may or may not be a possibility that these jobs will show up there. It all depends on the recruiting officer if they wanted to put it up there or not, because the NHS careers section by itself gets thousands and millions of hits. So they don't necessarily have to put it out. So the smartest thing for you to do is check the NHS careers section or the jobs section very often to see if there is a relevant job opening for you. But is that enough? Absolutely not. There's a lot more that you can do. Take the strategic recruitment advisor role that we just looked at. In this case, if you scroll to the side, you will see that there's an email ID provided. Now, if I were you, I would definitely send them my resume and cover letter on this email ID. Even though they've not said that you need to email it in, you can just apply from the website. Of course, they would apply it when you applied through the website. But the thing is, I don't want to lose out on an opportunity, so I am going to push my way forward and actually send them by email as well. The next thing I would do is look up this person on LinkedIn and then try and get a connect with them. And if I don't find a connect with them, I would then find somebody else that they're connected to, and through them, try and get connected to them. And then, of course, send them my CV and my cover letter and a few points about myself and why I make a brilliant candidate. I would also go one step further, find somebody else from the same organization And preferably if they're from the same department, I would message them as well. Now, a couple of things you should keep in mind here. If they don't respond to that first email of yours, should you keep sending them follow-up emails and badgering them? Absolutely not, because even if you were going to get a job, then you're probably going to not land one simply because you're annoying. And the second thing is, it also depends on whose email ID is provided. Like if it's the director of a company and it's a large company, you do not want to send them your CV or your cover letter and badger them with redundant questions. So you want to look for somebody who's actually relevant to this entire opportunity and not just message somebody who's too high up, because for two reasons. The first thing is they may not even have the time to go through your email, and the second thing is they may not be the right person that you should be reaching out to with your CV and your cover letter. You ideally want somebody who's going to recruit or hire. Now, what happens in a scenario where you go through all of the job openings and there's no job opening for your role that says that it offers visa sponsorship? In that case, I would take off the keyword of visa sponsorship and look for openings that are relevant to what you do right now. Then I would look for the employer that posted these openings. The next thing I would do is go and check if these employers are licensed sponsors. Because if they are licensed sponsors, that's great. That's one hurdle that has been cleared off. Then I'd go back to the opening and check if the opening does not mention anywhere that it does not offer sponsorship. If they mention that it does not offer sponsorship very clearly, don't go after that opening. But if they don't have any such thing mentioned, I would then still apply to the company. So I would either go to the careers section and apply from there, or look for a relevant person through LinkedIn and apply through them by sending them my details. Because think about it this way, there are a lot of cases where companies were not looking to hire from outside the country, but the right candidate managed to get in touch with them and managed to prove that they were absolutely worth the effort of going through the entire process of hiring from outside the country. The company realized there was value and benefit being added from that and still decided to go ahead and hire them, even though they had no initial plans of offering sponsorship for that role. So remember, I think the most important thing for you to take away from this is that if you are not willing to push for yourself, remember, nobody else is going to see value in you. Now, if you're wondering how you can apply for these jobs, it's very simple. So either you can apply directly from the NHS website, depending on the opening, or the NHS website will tell you that it's going to take you to the employer's page and you can apply directly from there. Follow the steps, fill out the relevant details. It's rather simple if you ask me. Even if they have multiple pages for the questionnaire or whatever it is when you're applying, don't be too stressed about it. It usually is worth the effort and it usually doesn't take you too long. Now, some of these openings will ask you to fill out the details directly through the form on the website. Some of them will ask you for a CV. And if you need help creating that perfect CV, I suggest you watch this.